Women Victims of Hidden Abuse, Healing from Psychological and Emotional Abuse Suffered by Women Within Relationship. Written by Jim Colajuta. Read for you by Chloe Jacobson. Chapter 1. Introduction. Although emotional abuse is a widespread form of violence in all cultures, it is seldom recognized as such by victims. Most victims are convinced that they are at fault, and thus do not perceive themselves as abused or victims of interpersonal violence. When and if they seek therapy, it is usually to deal with suicidal tendencies, intrusive thoughts such as murder, terrifying attachment to the abuser, which can manifest in learned helplessness, and pervasive feelings of confusion and unreality. Even when victims acknowledge that emotional abuse occurs in their intimate relationship, the depth of the inner bruises, emotional pain, and eroded sense of the self often remains hidden from consciousness. Somatic problems such as headaches and stomach ulcers mask deeper emotional wounds in many cases. Emotional abuse can be an integral part of the humiliation inherent in physical battering. Its effects are more profound than that of physical battering. Emotionally abused women's biggest problems are that others seldom take their abuse seriously and dismiss it as normal domestic conflict. Society often does not view this form of violence as worthy of victim status, and it is thus not seen as severe. Emotionally abused women, like those who have been physically and sexually abused, show tremendous endurance and inner fortitude as they effectively handle the daily demands of life, such as children, a career, and a home, with minimal external demonstrations of their inner struggle. Women often strive to avoid, leave, or resist their abuser in some way to stop the emotional abuse, whether directly or indirectly. Women who have been emotionally abused frequently find that others can help them minimize or misunderstand their experiences. An emotionally abused woman may leave and return to her spouse or abuser 5 times before quitting the relationship due to various problems. Dissatisfaction with the conduct of another family member, including the partner, may be compounded by inept or aggressive attempts to change that person's behavior in modern society. Dissatisfaction with the conduct of another family member, including the partner, may be compounded by inept or aggressive attempts to change that person's behavior. People are more polite, friendly, and approving with strangers of the opposite sex than with their spouses due to family characteristics that raise the probability of maltreatment. The majority of violence is perpetrated on women by their male partners in heterosexual relationships. Emotional abuse is used to manipulate, humiliate, injure, or punish a spouse, just like physical abuse, the victim. Abuse takes many forms, but the final result is the same. The victim of abuse becomes scared of her spouse and modifies her behavior to appease him. Emotional abuse affects more women than physical assault. Emotional abuse has been experienced by around 35% of all women who are or have been in marital or cohabiting relationships. 29% of women have experienced physical abuse from their male partners. Emotionally abusive partners are more likely to commit murder or murder-suicide when they leave their spouses, and women are the most vulnerable. Women who have been subjected to emotional abuse may become suicidal. The most damaging effect was being mocked by their abusive partners, followed by threats of violence and restrictions on movement or isolation from family and friends. It was also shown that the impact on the victim increased
Sample complete. Ready to continue?